couple of other examples in the neighborhood. This is actually in Menlo Park, the Performing Arts Center for the Sequoia Union High School District. And so this is a collaborative joint use project, not one of ours, but I sure admire the architecture. Next slide. Another very extensive joint use arrangement was with the Saratoga High School. This is in the Los Gatos Saratoga High School school district, where they both have a performing arts. That's the McAfee Performing Arts Center. So I think there was some business collaboration there, as well as great athletic facilities. Just another example, this, when you're talking about what I think used to be called vocational ed, it is really workforce development is the common term now. This is a project we did for the College of Marin Transportation Technology Complex. There are a lot of things I love about this project, but right now, fingers crossed, it will be LEED Silver, and we'll find out probably in about a month's time. I think one of the things that's fascinating, and a person you may want to talk to, is Nanda Shorsky, who's at the College of Marin. Not only is she involved in workforce development, but she's also really promoting college community partnerships. They've worked very closely with the local business community, local auto shops, and Toyota to help fund and support this project. Another project that I think is pretty interesting is the one we did for the Berkeley Unified School District. This is a conversion of an older elementary school right on San Pablo and converted to the Franklin Adult School. What we did, though, is that we included a kitchen for the bread project, and this is true workforce training. It is a great relationship where there's a relationship with the nonprofit and the school district have come together. The school district did provide the funding to actually pay for the project itself, but I just checked in with Lou Jones last week. The project is going swimmingly. They actually now have a cafe alongside of the bread project kitchen, and they do maintain their own equipment and are self-supporting. So it's a super environment. Next slide. And one that isn't bricks and mortar at all, that I think kind of ties in from what can I do today, what can I do now. About 2 years ago, our firm was actually approached by Met West High School, which is a small high school in Oakland. They search out businesses. That's one of the things the students are encouraged to do. We were approached by Brian, who's there in the middle with the yellow and gray striped shirt on, and he asked us if we could mentor him, if he could be part of an internship program through our office. And we said, absolutely yes. I'm happy to say Jeff Evans was really his guide. He did attend a lot of meetings with me, Brian did, and enjoyed that, did some work around the office, but really shadowed and worked with Jeff. Jeff helped him learn SketchUp, which was a wonderful tool for him. And as he says, now I can think about how my life would be if I followed the career pathway of becoming an architect. Last time we checked in with him, he decided he'd rather be a developer than an architect. So, a very smart young man that it's really meaningful to be able to connect with students not only as designers but also as a firm located in a very urban area, and so it's a great thing for us to do. Let's see, I'm going to turn it over.
I just wanted to show one other project, sort of to show you something else we're doing that's joint use in a different way. Next, please. And this is a project for the city of San Jose called the Almaden Library and Community Center. You would think, oh, the library staff, the Park and Rec staff, they all work for the city. They're all going to get along great. Everybody's going to want to share. All the problems Carolyn said, we had all those problems. Everybody was territorial. We have our way of doing things. You have your way of doing things. We don't want to do them the same. We don't want to do them together. Well, it took some doing, and I don't know if they're going to repeat them all. But they did this, and it's a great project. Next, please. And what's really cool is it shares a site with an elementary school. So you can see the school. You can see what we call the park, which is the athletic fields, the playgrounds, a little water play area, which is shared between the community center and the school. So that part's truly joint use. The school principal was very much a part of our discussions on an ongoing basis. And one of the things we had to deal with was putting this new building here took away the original parent drop-off route. So we had to create a temporary route during construction which is a huge deal. You know, where do the parents drop the kids off, and where are the teachers going to park? But everybody liked the new one so well that we were able to incorporate it into the design and give more land back as open space. We didn't put back a more extensive drive, we kept it. But what's great is the kids just walk right along a little path and they come into the community center after school. Parents drop their kids in the library, go work out in the gym or go play. There are tons of after-school programs. The most fun one I went to is Rocket Camp. Go ahead, please. And put on by the Park and Rec Department. It was very complicated, but the idea was you don't walk into one door to go to the library and one door to go to the community center. You walk in one place, and then everything branches from there. And because they have different hours, that's a complicated thing. The labor agreements have different hours of service for the different departments. The library actually has one of those storefront doors like you see in a shopping mall that closes it off. You can see in at night, but it's closed off from the rest of the building when the rest of the building is still open. We made things as multi-use as possible. The kitchen serves both the gym and the community room, and we put a synthetic floor in the gym so that you can use that for large community events. There was a grove of redwood trees, which is why it looks like a lobster on the side. We had to build around this grove of trees and everything, and it was very complicated. But it's been a hugely successful project that 4,000 people a day, average, pass through the doors of this building and use one part or another. And what's really cool, we've talked a lot about programs and the spaces you can do for programming. But what's really cool for me is that a lot of people just come here to hang out. And they can see people they know. There's a whole cafe and seating area in the lobby that spills out into the courtyard with the redwood trees, and you don't have to do anything. Or if you're waiting to pick your kids up at school, you could just go sit in there, hang out. We have like the little Friends of the Library book sale there. And we mixed and mingled things, and it really has worked well for everybody. And it saves them money. We didn't have to build 2 sets of bathrooms. We didn't have to put in 2 separate HVAC, air conditioning, mechanical systems. There were all sorts of economies of scale that we found by putting this together. And you can see the variety of spaces from the lobby, which has the best public art I've ever been involved with on a project, to the computer labs in the library, to the gymnasium, and everybody can share the spaces, and it's been great in that space. So now I'm going to hand it off to Jeff to close us out.
Hello, everyone. I would like to briefly introduce you to a wonderful local resource that this community might want to engage called the Center for Cities and Schools. It was established in 2004, and it was a joint collaboration between education and Department of City and Regional Planning, not necessarily people that collaborate all the time. It was established in 2004, as I said. The mission on the slide there, the Center for Cities and Schools works to promote high-quality education as an essential component of urban and metropolitan vitality to create equitable, healthy, and sustainable cities and schools for all. This is a lot about what we've been talking about today. Their work encompasses collaborative practice, research, and education. They share what they learn. And I want to highlight one of their themes, which you see in bold there in the middle. The built environment impacts educational quality. Housing, land use, school facilities, and transportation shape the very nature and quality of our public education and must be talked about in relation to schools and educational quality. In reverse, the importance of a high-quality public school system to the very vitality of our communities. The center, as I mentioned, does research, and they have investigated this question thoroughly and fully. They've looked at land use policies that support quality schools. They have looked at outside-the-box thinking, like some of these projects that we've heard talked about today and that we've seen presented. And they've looked at how housing policy can be coordinated to schools. Next slide. In addition to the research, the center provides education and facilitates collaborative policy making between local governments and school districts to help improve the community and public education. One area of focus is engaging youth, our young people. And this is accomplished through the Y Plan, which stands for Youth Plan learn, act now. I'd like to tell a very brief story about a young man, Yahya Abdul Mateen. When I was a student at UC Berkeley, I was one of a group of 3 graduate students that partnered with a junior history class at McClymonds High School in Oakland. And our privilege was to introduce these students to planning. And that was done through the Y Plan. There was a lot more to it than that, and so I'd like to highlight briefly what it's about. These students take a critical eye and look at their own community. And in the case that I'm talking about, it was a park right next to their high school. And they start up and they want to define the problem and also find the opportunity. And so in this case, they started with assessing park itself, seeing who used it, when it was used, and unfortunately it was not used by anyone, and it had a lot of problems with crime, derelict use, that kind of thing. These students didn't see that as an obstacle, instead saw that as something that could be fixed. And what's really important then is the third step there, which is to jump into action. And they were able to outreach to the lot next door, which happened to be a very nice new development by Oakland Housing Authority, and get them involved and talk about concrete steps that could be taken to fix the park. The beauty of the program is it doesn't actually just stop there with collaboration and identifying partners. They then go public. These very students, Yahya being one of them, went to City Hall and presented to their elected leaders, to members of the school board, to their parents, to their peers, about what they had seen, what they had learned, what they had observed, and how they wanted to fix it. There's a wonderful piece of reflection that happens at the end, and that could be the end of the story, but I'd like to take it a little bit further. Yahya was very inspired by the process of this experience and decided he wanted to go to UC Berkeley to study planning, and so he applied. That's great. A little step further, there was a mentor that was a part of this process named Walter Hood, who's a very prominent landscape and urban designer, and he got involved in it. And Yahya was waitlisted at UC Berkeley, and Walter was able to step up and be an advocate and write a letter of recommendation for Yahya. And long story short, got off the wait list, student there now. And the importance there is not just engaging students in their community, not just making results, but here's a student that got a career out of a class that they took in high school. Next slide, please. Another area of focus of the center is connecting sectors. The school and housing and neighborhood change are all impacting each other, and they are key elements in complete communities. You can see 2 reports there, which are publications the center offers, which have concrete steps about how to achieve success. And then lastly, they have an initiative called PLUS, Planning and Learning United for Systems of Change, which prepares leaders in schools, districts, and civic agencies to collaborate. Very simple. Hopefully now you have an understanding of what the center does. Thank you.